The Black female experience, the absence of Black male accountability, the Black community. Man, I had an interesting day today. Very interesting day today. Um, Answering a lot of comments. Of course, I've been seeing a shit ton of memes that have to do with Derek Jackson. And they're funny. They're funny, but it's kind of sad at the same time because as a Black woman, Derek Jackson was one of those people that Black women needed. Because on a platform such as YouTube, when he came into this space, he was the only one who was speaking positively about Black women. And of course, a lot of men did not like him. A lot of men were using this platform to vent about their complaints in regards to the Black women they have chosen. A lot of men like to complain about the type of women that they chose, but they don't go through the process of improving who they are. Now, currently, it's like breaking a lot of women's hearts because of Derek Jackson, and a lot of women are like, damn. But honestly, I feel like Black women especially, should thank this dude because he taught us how not to be with men like him. He did us a damn favor. I personally think that's just how the universe works. You know, what goes up must come down, what goes around comes around. And the universe has its way of clearing up things and improving things. The universe doesn't make any mistakes at all. You know how people always say God don't make mistakes. It's like a Christian thing. But you know how spiritual I am. I'm Buddhist, so I have like metaphysical beliefs. So I believe everything is the universe. So when I say God, I'm literally, to me, I'm talking about the universe. And I think a lot of people think the universe as in, oh, they can take a telescope and look out, and the universe is just the stars and the other planets and galaxies and shit. I don't mean that. I mean the power that's behind that. So when I say the universe, I just mean the power that's behind that, the power that created the science, the power that created the gravity, the power that created physics in general. So the universe has a specific way it works things out. And I think the universe actually was getting a lot of energy from the women, the Black women in the world who were having issues with men. And I think Derek Jackson was just an energy that was created for these women to help these women improve who they are. And the disappointment of him actually being the type of man he is, and telling women to avoid the type of man he is. It's just an interesting way to make what he was saying to women be valuable. You understand what I'm saying? Like, it's, you can look at it in a different perspective, because now it's like all of that advice he was giving women, it wasn't wrong. It wasn't like it was wrong. It was just, he's that guy. He's that guy. Um, I just posted the Plainest Jane's video in my community tab, because in one of the Derek Jackson videos that I did after his wife came on with him, I did a video a couple of hours after he did that live stream, and I could pick up on the fact that his wife was about some cult type of shit by the type of vocabulary that she was using, where she was speaking of God, Jesus Christ. It was just too extreme. And because I used to be a minister, it's easy for me to pick up on extreme religion, right? Cult like type of stuff. And I just automatically knew. And I remember saying it in my live stream. And then the next day, the Plainest Jane did a live stream And I put her live stream in my community tab because she's basically posting proof and receipts of Derek Jackson being inside of like this cult type of religious sect. So this led me to actually think about what possessed him to do this, because there's also a clip that Mark sent me. Mark sent me a clip a couple of hours ago of Derek Jackson talking about how he wasn't Christian and how he was the very opposite of that. And it was a video that he did a year ago. He was doing like an interview with some guy who was asking him, how did he become a millionaire relationship expert? And he was just basically just telling him how he wasn't Christian and how he, don't spew scripture and all of this stuff like that. And then you look at the video of him with his wife, and he just is speaking like he speaks like he has been studying that Bible for a while. Like in that video he did with his wife, the terms that he used, as far as the religious terms that he used, it seemed like he had been studying that Bible for a while. And I'm assuming the only reason why he knows it so well is because his wife knows it so well. She is just a devout Christian. I mean, it's Christian to a point where it's just so extreme. It's too extreme. Um, but check out the Plainest Jane's video. She got the proof on receipts. If you haven't seen it already, she got the proof on receipts that he is a part of a religious cult. So it led me to, just to think about my relationship with God and my relationship with other Black women and the stuff that we go through as women. And while I was thinking about all of this, a friend of mine posted this picture of these Black girls that were a set of twins that was on the Bad Girls Club, and they have light in their skin. So now they look like straight up white girls. And so he was saying, I don't even remember their names, but he was saying, hey, Viper Sniper, I don't know why you're talking about my tatas and my double D's and whatever, but anyway. So when it's time for me to talk about that, I'll talk about that, but I ain't talking about that right now. So anyway, these girls was on the Bad Girls Club, and I don't know their names, but they a set of twins, and I asked him, who are these girls? And he was like, oh, they're from the Bad Girls Club, and they lighten their skin. And I said to him, somebody else that was inside the comment section, I said, I see why Black women are doing this. I see why Black women are lightening their skin, because they start talking about plastic surgery and all the things that Black women are doing in order to improve their physical appearance. And I said, well, I see why they're lightening their skin, because of how we as Black women have been treated. How we've been objectified and hypersexualized and disrespected. And I could just go on and on and on and on and on. How not only have we been treated poorly by our own race of man, but also by society in general, you know? And I just could see how a Black person could feel some type of way. And so this guy responds to me and he says, well, I'm brown skinned and I'm proud to be brown and, such and such. And I was just telling him, I'm the brown one in my family. My mother is fair skinned, my sister is fair skinned, my daughter's fair skinned. So the light skin skipped me. You know what I mean? My grandmother is white and Black. So it's just like the fair skin runs in my family, but it like skipped over me because I'm brown. And I think I have an aunt who's like that, who's like darker skin, and I have a younger cousin who's darker skin. But outside of that, I just see the difference in how Black men treat women who are light skinned. And so it's a lot of colorism inside of the Black community. And I spoke about how when I was a model, a lot of photographers would tell me things like they wished I was light skinned. So this is what I was talking about inside of the comment section of the post where the girls were, they had the pictures of the light skinned girls. And so a guy responds and he says white men and Arabic men treat their women just as bad or worse. And men are always nice to their fetishes or fantasies until they grow bored with them. Toxic white men cuss their women out behind closed doors, and Arabic women's money is their husband's money. Now, I'm not understanding why he went straight for that, because it's not like I date interracially. It was almost like he was trying to convince me to not date interracially. I date black men, right? And I said, well, maybe I should have rephrased what I was saying. Maybe I should have said, black men are colorist and much nicer to lighter skinned women. And let's not pretend this is not a thing when you know that it is with men chasing red bones. Because I don't date Arabic men, I don't date white men or any other men you could try to discredit what I'm saying with. I date black men, right? So he goes to say black men with slave mentality raised by families with slave mentality ignorance of colorists. Ignorance is taught. And I said to him, what a way to abolish a black man's accountability for what he is doing today. Like at some point, black men have got to stop using slavery and other races of people as a crutch to justify or excuse the behavior that they have in relationships with their own race of women. There are a number of issues that's happening inside of the black community versus black men and women that are completely overlooked by black men all of the time, no matter how many times black women say, this is what I'm experiencing. This is what I'm experiencing. This is what I'm experiencing. Or they'll say some shit like, well, black women do it. Or this is what happens to other women. Or, and I'm sitting there like, my point is simply this. You wouldn't want to be a black woman either after you see how bad we were treated by our own race of man and society. And I told my daughter that she was lucky that she was light skinned because she wouldn't have to deal with the stuff I've dealt with me being brown. All right. And um, the lack of male accountability is creating an atmosphere or an environment where there are not a lot of black men taking lead. If black men take lead, black women will begin to be respected and treated better. Black men see the problem, but I don't see them doing enough of what they need to do to unteach. You know what I'm saying? Like if we're being taught all of this ignorant stuff, what are men doing to unteach this stuff? And how come the black woman, the black female experience is always erased? Like just because an Arabic man treats an Arabic woman bad or a white man that's toxic treats another white woman bad, it doesn't erase the fact that a black man is treating a black woman bad. So when I'm talking to a black man and I'm saying this is what's happening with black women, why is it that the first thing a black man says is, oh, it's happening to other women? That doesn't mean that it makes it suddenly correct or okay. So the common factor in all of this is women are being disrespected by men, period. And when you guys acknowledge this, why isn't the next sentence or the next act or behavior, why isn't it, maybe I should try to change who I am as a man or try to improve who I am as a man? That's what gets me about black men. I have black men coming into my comment section saying stupid shit. Like, I had a guy tell me that I always say something negative about black men. I never say anything against black women. He posted this shit today in some video that I did, and I couldn't understand that because if he had been listening to me speak, how many times have I said I can't stand hypergamy sluts? How many times y'all heard me say that? I'm pretty sure if you've been listening to my live streams over and over and over again, you heard me say I can't stand hypergamy sluts. I hold these women accountable over and over and over again, but somehow a beta has conveniently overlooked me also giving that same energy that I give to black men to black women who are also presenting a problem inside of our community. I think a lot of people think because I'm a woman, I've picked a side. Like I'm just going to be team woman because I'm quote unquote a feminist. No, I'm not picking a side. I'm saying that both genders inside of our community have issues and both parties need to adjust behavior. And a lot of the reasons why a lot of Black women are starting to use tools like gold digging and hypergamy and all types of stuff is because they feel like they have been in so many relationships where they have been manipulated and misused and drained and ended up with some type of narcissist who was only using them for whatever. They feel like they got to come up with all these tactics and manipulation schemes in order to get the type of man they want to actually want to be with them. And then for women to consistently, Black women to consistently be compared to mixed exotical women all of the time, it is a lot of women out there who are trying their best to improve what they look like. And then don't get me started, like say for instance, anytime I express my opinion about something, there's always some weird beta out there that likes to discuss the fact that I have on a wig. Like my physical appearance has something to do with my intellect. What's inside my body versus the outside is two different things. If you flip my ass inside out, you're not going to see a fucking wig. You feel me? Like what I think about and where I am intellectually has nothing to do with a wig or makeup. And I hear a lot of beta males say that stupid shit. My makeup and my hair has nothing to do with my intellect. How I style myself and what kind of clothes I wear and what kind of jewelry I wear has nothing to do with my intellect. It's plenty of people out there that have graduated from Harvard, Stanford, got all these goddamn degrees that wear hair wigs or hair pieces. It's women of all colors doing it, black, white, purple, green. So how come when a Black woman wears a wig or wears makeup, suddenly that means she's less intellectual? And what she has to say is no longer valid when all women wear makeup and weave. And even when I do not have on a wig, like say for instance, I'm just walking around with my natural hair. Like I've done plenty of videos of me with my natural hair. Do you know people still call that stuff weave? My natural hair. You with all that weave in your hair. How? I'm naturally hair and my natural hair, like my hair's curly. That's my hair with all this weave and stuff. Like I just be like, what the heck? And when I straighten my hair, like, I have a lot of hair. So when I straighten my hair, and I've been trying not to straighten my hair because it just breaks it off. That's the point of wearing a wig. It just breaks it off. Like blow drying your hair out, putting damn flat irons to your hair, all just hair just falling all in the sink. It just broke it off. I know. I want to save my hair. I want my hair on my head. So it's like I gotta put a wig on top of it to give it a break. I can't keep frying my hair all the time and pulling it and yanking it and braiding it and all this stuff. It just damages it. But anyway, when I do decide to flatten it and straight iron it and blow it out and all of this stuff, people still call that shit weave. So it's just like, regardless to what I do, someone somewhere is going to feel some type of way and try to use my physical appearance as a way to measure who I am intellectually. But they're not doing this with women of other races. I don't understand that. Why is it only Black women? We can't, like, this chick must be just an idiot if she's wearing a wig. And then men will be like, no, it's because she's wearing other women's type of hair. Let me explain something to you. The wig that I wear, right? I got a whole bunch of wigs, right? Because I just started wearing lace fronts. And I just started wearing lace fronts because I had this negative feeling about lace fronts for so many years. I hated lace fronts. I could not stand lace fronts. I was like, I cannot stand the fucking baby hairs. I cannot stand the way it just looks so fake. It's just phony. I can't stand it. So now that years have gone by and they've started making better lace fronts, it's like, okay, I could possibly deal with a lace front now, right? So instead of me get a lace front that other women get, the lace fronts that they get where it's like just weave on top of weave and just pounds and pounds of goddamn weave, Brazilian weave, Indian weave, all types of stuff that ain't a Black woman's hair. I get a weave, I get a wig that is the texture of how a black woman's hair would be if it was straightened. So I have the texture wig of how my natural hair would be if I straightened it out. I'm wearing my hair. I literally am wearing my hair. I'm not wearing Brazilian hair. I'm not wearing Indian Remy hair. I'm not wearing none of that. I'm wearing hair that is the texture of my own damn hair. And men is still complaining about that goddamn shit. And I'm like, oh my God. I just want y'all to stop trying to use my physical appearance as a way to measure who I am intellectually. It's just bullshit. It's dumb. Okay, it really is. All right. I got my ghetto ratchet weave. You know that colorful weave I be wearing? That shit ratchet as fuck. I got that. And then I have like this big black wig that's so long it goes almost down to my butt. It's so big. It's just fun to wear. Then I have another wig that's just like a fun wig to wear if I want to, look a certain way. I just have like wigs that I use because I'm trying to have fun. I'm trying to have fun with my life. I'm trying to like paint my face and be cool with, painting my face and, you know, playing dress up. That's all I do. That's all I do. Like, I'm already an attractive woman, right? I could walk down the street without a drop of makeup on, without a wig, and a man is still going to check me out. They do it all the time. But when a woman takes pride in her appearance, it says a lot about how she feels about herself on the inside. When a woman tries to convince you that she doesn't care about her physical appearance and she's not trying to prove nothing to nobody, a lot of times these women don't wear the makeup because they don't know how to put it on, or they don't have the patience to sit down and do it, or they don't know how to put on a lace front. It's a process. It's not something easy. I'm pretty sure you guys have seen women with makeup on and it looks ridiculous, or hair on that looks ridiculous. I'm pretty sure sometimes y'all have seen me and been like, what the fuck is wrong with her eyebrows? Because sometimes, right? Listen, like my eyebrows are my eyebrows. I keep trying to tell everybody my eyebrows are my eyebrows, and then I'll darken them in sometimes. And sometimes I'll use a pencil that's way too dark, or I'll use a pencil that's way too light. I have to have a pencil that's just right. And then it'll give me that look I want. But naturally, my eyebrows are thick because I'm not shaving them off like every other woman is doing. Every other woman is out here arching her eyebrows or shaving them off altogether and then drawing them in. Me, I don't do that. I just leave them how they are and then I clean them up. That's why they're so thick, because I don't cut them off. People are like, what's going on with your eyebrows, girl? You out here looking crazy. But, then you got other people like, yo, your eyebrows so clean. Like, your eyebrows are good, girl. Those shits are snatched. I love them, but the reason why I'm talking about physical appearance so much right now is also we can bring it back to Derek Jackson's wife, where she decided to get onto this live stream and she had on this hair bonnet and this damn just looking a mess. And then she did another live stream, I think it was on Instagram, and she had on a black hat and a army fatigue shirt and some saxophones behind her. And she was just talking about how her attire was the armor of God. And I was like, why does she keep talking about war so much? Like she made it'd be about war when really her physical appearance is a reflection of how she feels on the inside. I remember reading a couple of posts from other people, and they were saying that she had wrote on her Instagram and shit, and did some videos where she was talking about how she used to try to dress like the women that her husband was cheating on her with. And even when she dressed like that, he still cheated on her. She's internalizing what he's done. And that's another thing that Black women do all of the time, internalize what men do. It is not our fault when these men decide to cheat. A lot of times, listen, I don't care how bad of a woman you are. If you don't clean, don't cook, don't know how to fuck, don't look good, don't, let's say you not taking care of your man at all. Let's say you like the worst woman in the world and you treat your man like crap. He's supposed to leave you, not be with you lie to you and keep you there. That doesn't make any sense. If anything, he needs to be like, listen, I don't want to be with you no more because such and such, leave and then start relationships with other women. So there's nothing that you can do as a woman that will justify a man making that choice to deceive you and lie to you. Whether you deserve it or not, the type of character a man has, he'll choose just not to be the type of person you are. If you're a shitty person, you lie, you steal, you manipulate, and then the person that you with turns around and becomes the same person that you are, y'all two didn't need to be together anyway. That's a toxic situation. Sit here trying to one up each other and shit, that's just some bullshit. Be yourself when you're inside of these relationships. If you don't want to cheat on somebody, don't cheat on somebody. If you're not the type of person that go around and sleep around, then don't sleep around. Don't see your partner sleeping around and then be like, you know what, I'm just gonna get them back and sleep around. Because usually when you're not that type of person and you do that type of behavior, it doesn't feel as satisfying as you thought it was. It doesn't feel that way at all. So you're just like, ugh. You know what I mean? It's like a fucking waste. So a lot of women internalize what men do, and I can tell by the way this woman carries herself that she lacks all type of secure. She's insecure and everything. And a lot of women was like, well, she doesn't have anything to prove, so she could get on the interview and just say whatever. Nah, you do have something to prove. If you didn't feel like you had something to prove, probably wouldn't have done the live stream to begin with. If Derek Jackson's wife did not feel like there was something that she had to prove to the public, the live stream would have never happened. So if the apology video was definitely to prove to us that Derek Jackson is doing better, and we know that he isn't because he's had a mistress within the past 6 months. We know that that video was some bullshit. I don't even know why he still has his channel up. If I was him, I'd be because he done cut all the comments off on that last video. Shit, I'd be just took the channel down altogether or something like that because it's a wrap for dude. Like it's a wrap. And this woman is just sitting here just broken, and it was just easy to tell. Like it was easy to tell, and it's a lot of black women going through something similar. And people attacked this woman's physical appearance like it was nothing. And Derek had to know that this was going to happen. He had to know people was going to see her in this bonnet and this damn shirt and be like, why the fuck is this bitch wearing this in this video? Like he had to know this. He's the type of person that he cares about his image. So the last thing he should have done was allow her to get on the platform looking like that. He put her on that platform to save his ass. That's what he did. He put her on a platform to save his ass because he wanted to keep his deal with TD Jakes. Y'all don't know he had a deal pending with TD Jakes where he was going to have him come and speak at seminars and conferences, and that would have been amazing. That would have been amazing for Derek. And I think he started talking all of this Jesus Christ. I'm trying to be a man of God crap because of that, because of the money associated with that. Because I think it was $1 million deal. So I honestly feel like black women are the subject of so much torment, so much pain, so much abuse. And I'm not saying that all women aren't, I'm just saying for me, I'm black. I can only talk about the black female's experience. I can talk about an Arabic woman, and I'm pretty sure Arabic women are going through a lot of pain. I'm sure a lot of Indian women are going through a lot of pain because a lot of them was committing suicide for a lot because of the experiences that they are, go through in India. They were doing a lot of, like committing suicide and having a lot of suffering as well. So I'm not saying other races of women don't experience the same thing we do or a derivative of what we do, but it doesn't mean that it's okay because other women are experiencing it. It shouldn't be normalized simply because other women are also experiencing trauma. Okay, no, this is not a replay, Melinda. This is me. Why do you say ghetto ratchet? That's just what I say. I don't have a reasoning behind why I use the term ghetto ratchet. It's just something I say. It depends what type of man you're with. Yeah, perfect nails. He didn't really care about her at all. He really didn't care about her at all. Hey Tiffany. But yeah, um, I just feel like as a woman, every time I talk about my experience as a black woman and I say it to a black man, it's almost like he's trying to convince me that what I'm experiencing is normal and that I should just sit there and suffocate through it. Like I was talking about the other day when I was talking about how patriarchy is like men putting a leash around a woman's neck. And when they tighten the leash and a woman is complaining about the leash being too tight because we can't breathe because we're choking, we're convinced that we should be comfortable with the leash. The leash is something that we're supposed to have on our neck. And it's okay for the leash to be there. So we need to stop complaining. That's what it feels like when I was saying to this man all of the stuff I was experiencing, and I could understand why these twin girls from the Bad Girls Club was changing their skin color to light skin to look like women who aren't black. I see why women are wanting to do that because the psychological terror is so much that goes into the experiences that we have when we are being chastised because of our skin color, because of our hair, because of our weight, just being black in general. I mean, it's just like, damn, I'm starting to understand why women are doing this. Um, Women are just, I don't like that when I talk about my experience. Like I said, when I would go on to do modeling shoots, I was a model for 6 years. Photographers would tell me they wish I was light skinned. They'd be like, "Oh, I wish you was light skinned because light skinned girls are easier to edit, or you could put the right lighting on light skinned girls, and the pictures just come out way better. Dark skinned girls are harder to, like edit." And it's like, no, dark skinned girls are not harder to edit. You just have to figure out how to change the lighting on a dark skinned girl. But they would sit there and they would just tell me that they wished I was light skinned. It's times I've done photo shoots with photographers and they've literally made me light skinned in the picture. How many times have you seen a picture of me and I look light skinned? It's because the photographer has either edited me to look that way or the filter that I'm using has lightened my skin. And it's done it every time. Like I'm nice and brown. I'm a nice little caramel brown, a little bit of red to it. But they be making me light skinned and shit. So that was another reason that was another thing that I was dealing with as a model when I was modeling that made me not want to model anymore. But I'm sitting here and I'm telling this guy about my experience. I was talking about how when my daughter was younger, like my daughter's light skinned, we moved into a predominantly black area. Now, mind you, in elementary school, my daughter grew up in a predominantly white area in Charlotte, North Carolina. She went to school in this place called Matthews. Anybody who knows anything about North Carolina, you know about Matthews, you know it's predominantly white. So my daughter lived out there with her father. And she was in elementary school. And so she grew up around a lot of kids that weren't black, right? And like I said, she was light skinned. So when her father and her moved to Atlanta, right? Because me and him used to like take turns with my daughter. And I lived in Atlanta and they lived in Charlotte. So they moved to Atlanta. And when he first got there, we put my daughter in a predominantly black middle school. Now, we was in a predominantly black area, but the type of money that we were making was bigger. So we could have lived somewhere else, but that's where my family lived at the time. We lived in Stone Mountain. We could afford living somewhere else that was way more expensive, but we was living in Stone Mountain at the time. And the school that she went to was predominantly black. It was zero white kids in it. Not one damn white kid. Not one Asian kid. Not one. Everybody was black. Right? So I put my daughter in this school. First day of school, she cried. My daughter cried all seventh grade, all eighth grade. Until finally I was like, something is wrong because first of all, every time, like my daughter always had fresh everything. She had fresh clothes, fresh pair of sneakers. She always had a cell phone. She had a cell phone before all the other kids even touched the phone. She was one of the only kids inside of her school who had a cell phone at seventh and eighth grade. So she's sitting there with a cell phone. She fresh to death. She light skinned. Okay. She got her natural hair. Every time we took her to school, she had a shit ton of money. They would steal from her. We kept having to get her a phone because they kept stealing her phone. They was chastising her for her natural hair. I was like, oh my God. So one day I finally after some little boy told her he was gonna fuck her in the ass, and I went to the principal and brought my daughter to the school, went to the principal's office and told them that this little boy told my daughter he was gonna fuck her in the ass. And this principal at this school told me he couldn't do nothing about it because he asked the little boy, did he say it? And the little boy said no. And he told me he couldn't do nothing about it. Do you know I ripped my daughter out that school that week and was done and never brought her back? Took her to another county. I took her to a completely different county out of a predominantly black area. And this is what I was telling the guy in the comment section earlier today, where he was saying, well, you should teach your daughter to be proud to be black. I said, I'm not teaching my daughter that. I was like, after a whole bunch of years of me being an activist, the reason why I don't teach my daughter to be proud to be black, I teach her to be comfortable with whatever it is she resonates with, whatever it is she identifies with. Because when I put her around a whole bunch of black people, she didn't identify with black people. And it could have had something to do with her being in a place where it was not as many black people before. But that still doesn't mean that once she did get into that environment, she should have been welcomed by the black people. You understand what I'm saying? Because she's still black. It ain't like she, so mixed race that you can't tell she black. You can tell my daughter's black, right? So it's just like, what? Like, she might look a little Asian, but you can tell my daughter black. So she, the last thing that should have happened to my daughter is what happened to her. And so I'm telling the guy this. I'm like, yo, I'm not teaching my daughter that. I'm teaching her that she needs to be comfortable with whatever she resonates with and whatever she identifies with. I feel more comfortable telling her that. But I will never put any of my kids in a predominantly black area ever again. And that's why I didn't put my son in that. Like, when I found out I was having a son and I was living in Atlanta, I was like, oh, fuck no. Because number one, I'm not about to have my son have all of these negative traits because he's walking around Atlanta without his daddy. That's number one. Number two, I want my son to see how different cultures operate so he can understand there is a life outside of the hood. There is a life outside of the black community that you can take part in. You can travel all around this world. Whatever city that you in, the radius that you in, that's little as shit. The world is big as hell. And I wanted my son to know that in this area where I live now in San Francisco, there are so many different races of people here, not just black people. It's black people, but the specific area I live in isn't predominantly black, right? But the San Francisco, Oakland Bay Area in general is so rich with so many different cultures. My son could learn more as a man and be more benefit. He could benefit more and become a better man by being in a place like this than he would be if I raised him in Atlanta without his father. Right. So I was like, man, I'm not raising my son in no predominantly black area. And I'm just sitting there telling them this and they just laughing. They think it's so funny. You know what I mean? They just think, oh, she must just have a problem with her own race. I have a problem with a lot of the things that's happening in the community that a lot of black people overlook, which is the black female experience. That's overlooked all across the board. And there's no black male accountability inside of our community. That's one of the biggest problems we have, the lack of black male accountability. So I was like, if I have my son around that, he's going to basically just end up being that. It, at some point, you have to stop the vicious cycle from rolling. At some point, you got to stop the generational curses and be like, okay, what do I need to do to change this from being the typical outcome for a black male? And I'm like, I'm sitting out here in these streets raising a black male. It's already difficult being black in general. But he's a black male. Without his father wanted to collect pussy instead of improve his lifestyle. And I can only imagine what's that's going to feel like to him when he realizes his father isn't around. Right? Because my son still like my son, when he see men, he be shocked. He just be looking at him like, oh my God, this is a person? Like, like this is okay. Like, he can see, he knows my, relatives and stuff, but he doesn't understand the dynamic of, like, he's a man. So I'm teaching him boy and girl right now. I'm teaching him gender right now. You know what I mean? So Anyway, it's not that I even hate my race. It's not that I hate my race at all. It's more of, man, my race of people need prayer. Like this clout chasing failure person, definitely need prayer. 43 subs, yeah, you can't get no views. You haven't noticed your message is not believed? I hope Mark sees this. This Mark got going to have so funny to say about that. Listen, I've had 40,000 subscribers for a long time. And I understand that I'm not getting significant views because I don't put forth the energy that I could put because I don't have time. I have to spend my time in other areas that are generating me more income than YouTube. See, views right now are not giving me the millions. My money is actually generated in places like OnlyFans. I make a lot of money off OnlyFans. I also make a lot of money off of my company Yaora, my apparel company. I make a lot of money off of my single mom support group. I make a lot of money off of my revenue digital UI UX design company where I do corporate branding and marketing and design for companies. That's where my money is. So that's where my energy goes most of the time. I have to take care of my son. So I don't have time to be on YouTube as much. That's why I don't have the views that you would like for me to have. Clout chasing failure. Okay. The troll account. So that's what's happening with me. But you here though. You worried about the people that's not here for what? You here. um I don't know about my message not being believed. I don't know what message you think I'm trying to convey to people, but I have a positive message to give to people most of the time. And it's for the people that it's for. If it's not for you, then I tell everybody else, they can mosey their ass up on out of here. You know, the internet is so big. It's so much shit for you to watch if you are not entertained or if something is not interesting to you. Like YouTube is one of those places. It's so many channels. It's so many content creators. It's so much going on. Like trolling has got to be like the corniest. Like when you don't like something, it's so easy to scroll off that shit and move forward. Derek's wife is dressing weird, but she isn't ugly. I know she's not ugly. The Tiffany. Here's my thing. This lady, we've seen her dressed up. Her wedding picture was beautiful. You know, on my community tab, it's a picture of her with Derek on one side and on the other side of her dressed up, and she's gorgeous. She just has to take care of herself. And I tell women all the time, like when you get in these relationships with men, especially successful men, you cannot be the woman that lets yourself go. You can't. Because there's so many other women out there that want your man. Whether you believe it or not, you still in some type of competition with these women in some kind of way, even when you some man's wife. Because these men want to flaunt their woman. Men want a woman that they can be proud of. Men are visual creatures. I think the reason why Derek Jackson hid her from us for so long was because of how she looked. Because she didn't take care of her physical appearance like he wanted her to. Remember the girl, the surgeon that was on Tasha K's channel, and she was saying that Derek didn't like when she slacked on her physical appearance, that he was over at her house when she needed an eyelash appointment. And he was telling her that she needed to get her shit together and he needed her to look a specific type of way. The reason why he was telling her that is because he doesn't get that shit at home. He's cheating on his wife with women who are more physically attractive because that's what he's attracted to. If he wanted to sleep with a woman who wasn't taking care of themselves, he would just go sleep with his wife. But he's cheating on his wife with women who are appealing visually because that's what men are. Men love attractive women. It's just how they're built. It doesn't mean a beautiful woman is better than other women. But a woman who is confident in herself and takes care of her physical appearance, that's a good woman. That's the type of woman men want. As long as you take care of yourself, like you make sure you look nice, it doesn't matter if you're ugly or you're beautiful. If you got confidence in yourself and you always making sure you keep your appearance up, meaning you always dress nice, you always got your hair done, you always got your nails and your feet done. That shit right there in itself is enough for a man to just genuinely just be attracted to you. And that's it. Like you don't have to try. Listen, keeping up your physical appearance isn't hard. It just takes discipline. It's something that you have to do because it's a process. A lot of women don't want to go through the process. Um, yeah, that is Jeanette. That is so rude. Yeah, professional photographers have done that. Just tell me that they wish I was light skinned. But you have to understand the modeling industry is tough. The entertainment industry in itself is like cutthroat. Anyone surprised? No man wants this woman. What woman? Who woman? Isaac, are you talking about me? Oh boy. If you talk about me, you in for a rude awakening. there are plenty of there are plenty of men wanting me. I don't know who done lied to you. I don't know why these babies be trying to convince me. Like, do you see this bitch in this picture? Look at this picture. You see this circle of this chick in the center with her hair done? With that cute necklace on and she got nice breasts and, beautiful skin. She got a pretty smile. That's me, motherfucker. Do you realize how bad of a bitch I am? Are you crazy? I'm the most beautiful bitch in the back of that back. Like, don't get it twisted. These men be trying to make these beta males. Let me not call them men. Let's call them beta males because that's what they are. Beta male dusties. Like this one. Always be trying to get women to feel bad about themselves. Every time. This is the stuff that I'm talking about right here. When I talk about the Black female experience, this is the stuff that I'm talking about right here. Because men try so hard to try to make a woman feel bad about herself so they themselves can feel better about who they are. That's tacky as fuck. Instead of them going out there doing what they need to do to improve their self confidence and self esteem, going out there working out, exercising, doing what they need to do, instead of doing that stuff, putting their energy into becoming a better man, they rather get on the internet, hide behind a fake profile, and try to put down a woman. How fat can you be? Anyway, fragments of memory. Many operate from the view that if it doesn't happen to me, it's not happening to anyone else. Oh, yeah, that is so true. I use my experience as a template for all existence. I feel like everybody has something that they're going through, right? But I try not to erase everybody else's experience. Like if somebody's coming to me and they're venting about their experience, I'm not going to be like, well, this is what happened to me, unless it's a story of triumph and how I got through it. That's the only way. See, here's another one, another troll. You fell off, sweetie. What the fuck did I fall off of? Is what I'm trying to figure. What did I fall off of? Cause last time I checked, I wasn't like the most popular YouTube content creator there is. It's not like I had all of these amazing ass people following me. All I had was 45,000 subscribers. That's it. My subscribers and views. Listen, I haven't went past like 20 million views. That's as high as I've went. What are y'all expecting over here? I'm not one of these content creators that has 600,000 subscribers where I can fall off of some shit. Like, there's nothing to fall off of. This platform is the lowest. Do you understand that? Like, this YouTube is on the bottom of the list of the things that makes me successful and wealthy. That's what I'm like, what the fuck did I fall off of again? Anyway, we are a broken people. We are sick and ailing. No shit, because I'm looking at these trolls and I'm telling you. You can get StreamYard or Zoom. I'm on StreamYard right now, hun. Um, I'm on StreamYard. Are you saying I should use StreamYard to talk on OnlyFans? I don't live stream on OnlyFans because OnlyFans is supposed to be like a private one-on-one type of thing for guys to get their relationship advice from. So if you're a guy and you need relationship advice one-on-one, relationship advice to try to figure out what's going on with your situation, like sometimes I talk to married men on there, sometimes I talk to men who are just in relationships. There's a lot of single guys on there. There's a lot of different types of guys who are just confused about what type of man they need to be inside of their situation. So they're in my inbox and I'm just giving them a little bit of guidance. And at the same time, of course, to keep them entertained, I post my videos, my sexy videos, my sexy exclusive pictures and stuff like that. And honestly, it creates a more comfortable environment for me to be able to give men relationship advice when I look like this. Like, because I'm sexy, it makes men be more interested in listening to what I have to say, I've noticed. So OnlyFans was a great place to give relationship advice at. Derek Jackson, like 6'6", 250 pounds solid. Women at the gym throw themselves at him. And basically, like you have to be, man, if your husband looks like that, you need to do everything humanly possible to make sure your ass is bad. You need to be on that damn treadmill next to him, getting your hair done, getting your eyelash appointment, getting your manic and pedic. Make sure your skin's smooth. Make sure you smell good. Make sure you wax. You feel me? Like this is stuff, and this is just basic self care for women. That's the stuff that's underneath your clothes. You know, makeup is an additional enhancement. And honestly, I've been trying to I sometimes I wear foundation, right? I've been trying not to wear foundation. I've been darkening using clearing up my dark spots because I'll have I don't break out anymore. I used to break out. I think I used to break out when I was like severely stressed. And I don't think I was getting enough water. So now it's like my face is clearer. And so now I'm just using like this thing called, what is it called? Nadanola? It started with an N. Anyway, it's like a cocoa butter fade cream where I put it on my dark spot so I won't have to wear foundation. Because I don't like foundation like that. I don't want like full coverage foundation just packed on my face to where it's like caking up. And I don't want all that. You know what I mean? Nobody want all that on their face. Shit, nobody want all that. So anyway, um, I think that um as a black woman, I feel like a lot of people are always trying to tear me down. All of the time. It's like a constant thing every day. Every day that I sit there and I try to work on being a more successful woman or being a better person, it is always somebody watching me, trying to make sure they can figure out a way to tear me down or try to make me think less of myself. And that's the messed up part. Hey, Terica. Okay. Sorry. What I say? Oh, Derek's wife is so frumpy. Honestly, she can't handle that giant cobra in his pants. You funny. I mean, she seems to be handling it quite. Listen, he was gonna cheat anyway. Like even if she was a baddie, he was gonna cheat on her because that's just where he is in his stage of life. He just hasn't found the right woman yet. Like that's what people don't understand. Like you're not gonna find the right person in your 20s all the time. Sometimes you got to go through life and then you find somebody. I just think Derek Jackson hasn't found the right person for him. And honestly, I feel like he wanted the surgeon better than he wanted his wife. Honestly. But I think he needs to work on who he is. He got a lot of growing to do. He's 30. Do you know it's men out here that's 40, 50, still playing games and shit? Come on, man. Like he still got a whole bunch to learn. A lot of these men do. A lot of these men do not want to sit down and take care of who they are. like their mental health, their emotions, that's too hard for them. It's easier to blame a woman or mistreat a woman or not do what they supposed to do. That's the easy shit. The hard part is praying, meditating, making sure they work out, making sure they not miscommunicating by being dishonest and ugly. Make sure they're not trolling. Make sure they're not, just doing this long list of stuff to be a problem for society. Derek looks way older than his age. I have met men who have a smaller package than you're expecting. Well, Derek looks. No, I think he does. I think he looks. Um. Now that I look back at him, right, and I look at older pictures of him, like now I'm starting to see pictures of him I ain't seen. People are scraping up pictures of him from the internet. I mean, from the bottom of the barrel, as places pictures of Derek Jackson I didn't even know exist. Because I thought I seen every picture of Derek Jackson because he everywhere. But man, I seen pictures of him I ain't never seen before. And when I look back on him, I'm like, yo, this is so photoshopped. This is so edited. This is so, And then I'd be like, that look on his face is just terrible. That picture of him in his football uniform where he with his wife and they weren't married yet. They was like in high school or in college or some shit. He looks ugly in that picture. I was like, ew. Like gross. He looks ugly in that picture. But there are other pictures I've seen of him. He doesn't look the same. But I was saying the other day when I was talking about he doesn't look as good as he used to look, that there must be something happening as far as his health, because it isn't that he's getting older, that's what's making him more unattractive. It's something he's not doing, or maybe he's something he's not eating, or maybe he's not working out as much, he's not taking care of himself the same, or the weight of that guilt and that stress is on his ass. Maybe he looks worse because marriage has been stressing him. See, marriage is different than a flat out relationship. He been married for 4 years. The last time I seen Derek Jackson look good as hell was like 2017. And then I just stopped seeing him. And then all last year, I stopped seeing him posting all together. And then suddenly he started posting again. And I was like, this dude looks like something is wrong with him. He looked drained, like he looked stressed. So I think it might have been the guilt and having to be a father, the stress from father, husband, because that stuff can be stressful for some men. Some men don't know how to do that. I did a TikTok earlier today where I was talking about how marriage is a business and how most people don't know how to run a household. Most people don't know how to run a household. That's why I'm so surprised that so many people are so anxious to be married. For what? Why are you trying to be married so bad? For you don't know what you're doing most times. And if marriage was just about God or love, you wouldn't have to go to the justice of peace to get a license to do it. The reason that it definitely becomes a business is because you have to go get a license. Then it becomes a business. Your taxes change, your money change. So why is it so hard for people to go try to figure out how to run a business first as far as a household? If you look at your household as a business, right? Because think about it, running a household technically is a business. You got utilities, okay? If you renting, you got renter's insurance you got to pay. You got to pay the rent or the mortgage. You got to pay the landscaper, the housekeeper. You got to pay for the utilities in the house. You got to pay for the goddamn internet. You got to pay for the maintenance of the house. What if the hot water tank heater thing burst in the garage? What if it could be anything. What about the gutters? I mean, it's all types of stuff uh, that could be happening. What about the pests? It's too many pests, or what if it's a beehive in the back of the house? It's so much stuff that goes with you having a household that just deals with just the house. Imagine tacking on top of that the business of your relationship. That's a whole nother business on top of the business. And then don't get me started on your children and how you got to get them functioning right, because they have lives and daycare and school and all types of stuff that they got to go to. So think about that. Like you got to have some great time management skills. You got to have good interpersonal communication skills. All right. You have to be organized. These are things that a lot of people just can't even do. Some people do not know how to build or maintain a happy household. So you can't just be so anxious to just marry just any random person. And so when I made this TikTok, people like, oh no, marriage is about God. It's about a bond. It's about love. No, it's not. Because people who are in love still get divorced. People who love one another, I'm sorry, still get divorced. People who love God still get divorced over money and disagreements about the household. So it's not just love and devotion to God. We got a household we got to take care of. We got to make sure the house is even functioning properly. And people don't even think about that when they think about getting married. They got to think about that first. Can you live with this person? Cooking, cleaning, maintaining. And if you live in a big ass house, let's say you live in a big ass Derek Jackson mansion. Do y'all realize how much it costs to clean that shit from head to toe? Man, my housekeeper a month, listen, my housekeeper was $2,000 a month. And she wasn't even cleaning the whole house. $2,000 a month. And the thing about it, she was like, I remember the first time she tried to come in and clean the house. She was like, listen, I'm gonna clean the house from head to toe, and I'm just gonna come each week to like refresh the house. Come on, man. That's business. And people don't even think of that shit that way. People don't even think of that. They just like, oh, let's get married because we love one another. Okay. All right. Ask people why they got divorced. Ask any divorced person why they got divorced. They'll say some shit like infidelity. We was having money issues. We was arguing about, household duties. It's always those three things. I promise you. It's rare you hear something else out of those three things. The reason why I'm saying that is because I've done so much relationship and marriage counseling. That's what they keep saying over and 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 over. So that's why I say make sure you take advantage of counseling, marriage counseling. We talk about mothers. A lot of people think simply because a woman is a mother, she's just supposed to naturally know how to nurture. No, there is some bad mothers out there. Bad mothers. People like, oh, she's trying as hard as she can. Some single moms have PTSD. I'll be like, well, stop while you ahead. Let's not give the bad mothers an excuse. I'm going to have the same energy with a bad single mom that I would with a deadbeat dad. Because that's all a bad mom is. It's the opposite of a deadbeat dad. You understand? So it's like, I don't want to hear nothing about no PTSD because we all dealing with something, but we still can be parents and wives and, go out here and do our jobs and stuff. And I'm saying, listen, parenting classes and damn child development classes in high school and college is what made me a decent mom. If it wasn't for those classes, I wouldn't know how to be a mother because of what I experienced. I would have just passed down the stuff that I learned from my toxic ass family. So if it wasn't for those classes, oh my God, it would have just been screwed up for my kids. Everybody I know got divorced because either the man cheated or the woman cheated. Exactly. So here's my question. Why do people cheat? A lot of people say, oh, it's because they're not getting something in the household. They're not getting something in the relationship. They're not getting something in the marriage. A lot of people, when they're married, they don't know how to attack the issues that are orbiting around them as them versus the issue. Usually what they do is they pin themselves against each other. So it'll be husband versus wife. It won't be husband and wife versus the problem. That's where they mess up the most as far as the household goes. Because usually it'll stem from something that was happening inside the household where somebody wasn't communicating or wasn't doing something or was ignoring something they were supposed to be doing, not doing their duties. It was something like that made it to be to a point where friction was starting to begin in the relationship or the marriage. And someone's not getting something that they wanted, right? Because think about it, you got to be madly in love to go through the process, or even believe you're madly in love to go through the whole process of being married to begin with, especially if you had a wedding. If you went through the whole process of having a wedding, that makes it a whole nother thing. Do you know how expensive weddings are? So y'all had to be doing good at some point to make it to a damn wedding. Because a wedding that's something that's orchestrated. You got to put some energy into that. So apparently things must have been going just fine for you to make it to the wedding stage. So you get to the wedding stage, honeymoon stage, and then you're married. Now, whatever happened before the marriage and the wedding and the conversations that was discussed as far as household, how we going to handle this as husband and wife, what's going to change, what's the negotiation, whatever that negotiation was, if the two people negotiated at all, because some people don't need to sit down and negotiate. They don't need to sit down and be like, what am I going to get out of this? Or what are we going to give each other? How are we going to do this? Let's talk about that first. Some people don't even do that. They just get married and then they decide to talk about that after they're married. That negotiation, that conversation, and what you two agree to determines the success or the failure of that relationship, especially if somebody does not stick to that negotiation. And a lot of times, cheating stems from somebody breaking the negotiation. Something happened, and it be something small too, and it just snowball into something else. Greed, Mark, you're saying greed? Greed. Greed. That's why people cheat. Greed. Sometimes people got it good. Let's say you got a good wife or a good husband, right? They doing everything that they supposed to do. The reason why a person will cheat on somebody that's doing everything that they're supposed to do, I believe, is because they have insecurities themselves. They're not 100% themselves. They're not bringing into the situation what they're supposed to do themselves. So a lot of times, the remedy to them is to go find somebody that they feel 100% secure with. That's what I think. They don't feel 100% secure in their marriage or their relationship, even though their partner is just fine. They don't feel like they're. That's what I think is happening with Derek. Like a lot of people think it's like, I know her physical appearance is a problem, and I know he's sleeping with other women because the sex is bad. We all know that. That's what's been said. But honestly, at the end of the day, he knew the sex was bad before he married her. He knew the sex was bad before he impregnated her the first time. He knew the sex was bad before he impregnated her the second time. He could have easily chose to not be with this woman, but he proposed. Why? The reason why he cheats on this woman and was cheating on her when they was in a relationship with together is because he insecure with himself. It has nothing to do with her. It has nothing to do with her. Now, even as a woman, don't get it twisted. You still got to take care of your man and yourself. Because there's still some men out there that be like, yo, my wife is frumpy. I can't do it. I don't want to. I don't want to go home to that. Because see, sometimes part of the negotiation is make sure you keep yourself up. I hear men complain about their women not keeping themselves up. And then you got wives who can't keep themselves up. Like maybe they had an injury or something happened. Maybe they went through a surgery or something like that, and they no longer have the physical stamina that they used to. So they begin to gain weight. And a lot of times women get self-conscious about that. I was self-conscious about that for a second until I realized how fine I am. I was like, oh, bitch, you cute. Don't even worry about it. Oh, you chubby and sexy at the same time, girl. Look at that ass. Look at that ass. You hella juicy. You know what I'm saying? Like, these are things that I have to tell myself when I look in the mirror. I cannot look at myself the way other people view me. Like I was talking to Mark about the guy that I dated last. Puerto Rico. I know y'all remember Puerto Rico. I was talking about Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico got mad at me because Puerto Rico kept playing and doing like these mixed signals type of things. And I don't play that, right? I do not play that. I don't play no games with no man. It's like, listen, you gonna chase me because men like to naturally do that, or you gonna pursue me and just on a regular tip, but I'm definitely not gonna chase you. That's not how this is gonna go. I'm coming into this situation with some feminine energy, and you gonna masculine my ass out. All right? Or we ain't gonna do this. So he kept giving me like this mixed signal. Like 1 minute he'd be all up on me and be like, "Oh, you're a beautiful woman, you sexy, you this, you that, boop the boop," and then he would turn around and be like cold and distant. Right. So one day he decided that he wanted to go 3 or 4 days without talking to me. And I had already explained to this man, do not go 3 or 4 days without talking to me. That's bullshit. I'm telling you what it is that I want. If you don't give me what I want, I'm going to go find another man that knows how to place a call every day. It's as simple as that. It's too many men chasing me. I don't have time to be teaching a man how to treat me. I'm not going to sit here and teach you that. You know what you're supposed to be doing. We grown here. This is not, I'm not 18. We're like over 35, dude. Come on, you know what you're supposed to be doing as a man. And if you don't know, I'm telling you, this is what I need you to do. So he decided after I told him, I don't like the break in communication, keep up with me so we can get to know each other. The fact that I even had to tell this dude this. But he tried me again. He went 4 days without talking to me. I said, okay, he want to play this game. He wanted to play oh, let's be friends. You know how men be trying to pretend like they ain't into you like that? Like, oh, you sexy as hell and I love you. I love the type of person you are. Not I love you, but I love the type of person you are. I want you. I want you all. Everything about you I love. And then the next minute, I think we should be friends. You know how they try to play it cool. So that's what he was trying to do. So I started treating that nigga like he was just my friend. I started treating him like it. And then one day, I said to him, I think I like this friendship shit we doing. Can you introduce me to one of your homies or one of your coworkers? Because I'm trying to date. I'm trying to get around the bay this summer. The weather is nice. I'm in Cali. I ain't had all this free time. I ain't looked all this beautiful. Sometimes I'm here. Listen, hook me up. Somebody gonna want to go on a date with my fine ass. You know what I'm saying? This nigga got so mad at me. He got so mad at me. And I'm thinking to myself, I thought you wanted to be friends. Well, why are you so mad at me? And he says to me, you think too highly of yourself. I was like, wait a minute. If I was one of these bum bitches that had low self-esteem, you would think I would be more attractive? How else am I supposed to think of myself? I'm supposed to think low of myself? Is that what you telling me I should think? Or you thinking that I should think of me how you think of me? What other people think of me ain't my business. I'm always going to feel like I'm the shit all day, every day, because I work my hardest to improve who I am as a woman every day. I know I'm putting in the work. I know I'm a good woman. So can't no nigga that barely know me tell me who I am. A nigga that ain't even took the time to call me enough to even get to know me. Went on one damn date. You can't figure out a person to know one goddamn date. And I'd already picked up on the game that he was playing a long time ago. So I'm like, you can stop. 7 months I've been talking to this dude. I've been talking to this dude 7 months. We ain't never had sex. We ain't never did none of that. He kept playing little phone games and little stuff. I was like, this dude is tripping. Tripping. How did Derek even meet her librarian looking behind? That is a good ass question. When they went to school, I just feel like inside of that entire school that they went to, inside of their entire college, you mean to tell me it wasn't one chick in that joint that wanted him more than her? Why was it her that he chose? And why they kept on breaking up on and off and on and off and on and off and on and off over and over and over again, over and over and over again. On and off. It didn't occur to them that all them breakups to makeups and shit meant don't get married. Not let's get married. Come on, man. So when the guy is rich and has a wife that cheats, oh my God. A lot of times when men are wealthy and their wife cheats on them, a lot of times she was only in the situation for the money to begin with. That's what I think. Because let me tell you something. If a man is a high earner and he's attractive, and he's a good husband, no woman in their right mind is going to just cheat on him. No, no. No woman in their right mind is just going to cheat on him. Most women want that. Most women want a woman, a man. Most women want a man who is wealthy, who is attractive, well put together, and faithful and loyal and doesn't lie. Now, I saw this meme that had Derek Jackson, Remy Ma's husband, Papoose, and what's the other one? Russell Wilson on it. And it had Derek Jackson's X out in red. And it said one down, two to go. And it was basically, to me, I read it as, oh, so what men are doing is proving that what women think about y'all is correct when we say all y'all ain't shit. Because when y'all tell us that Russell Wilson and Papoose are also two men that represent black love so much, Papoose especially, and Russell Wilson, he's with Sierra. If you're saying to me that them two men are just like Derek Jackson, where they faking the funk as like these perfect husbands, that lets me know that none of y'all are the way that we see them. None of y'all love us. That's what little memes and stuff like that show me. It's like it's all jokes, but at the same time, there's some truth behind some of this stuff. Like y'all, I think men are like literally telling us we do cheat. We always gonna cheat. We lie, we manipulate. That's what we do. Boys gonna be boys. And as long as women allow that shit, we gonna keep doing it. And the women that allow us to do that shit to them, we marry them. And the women that don't allow us to do that, we keep them single and chastise them for wanting something better for themselves. Because, being single and over 30 is just the death wish. It's like the worst thing that could ever happen to a woman. You know what I'm saying? Some shit like that. No. They want women to believe that, though. Y'all be having me thinking that. You disrespected him, he could have slapped you. So I disrespected a man who told me he wanted to just be friends by telling him, okay, friend, hook me up with one of your homies or one of your coworkers. Right. So a nigga that's been playing games with me for 7 months, pretending that he liked me 1 minute and then pretending that he don't, spending all of these days not calling after I told him I need him to call. He ignores that altogether and continuously keeps waiting for the sometimes a week to call me. But that's not disrespectful to me, right? He's not disrespecting me when he does it. But it's disrespectful for me to be like, okay, you want to be platonic friends? All right, let's do this. Hook me up with one of your homies and one of your coworkers. Let me tell you something. I'm a savage with these niggas. You know why? Because they are savage towards me. He out here talking to other chicks. Well, he not sitting here calling me every day like he's supposed to. He out here talking to somebody else he would prefer talking to. Men don't think women know that. You think I don't know that? He found somebody else that he wanted to talk to. Let me tell you something. When a man is interested in a woman, he calling her all the time. He calling her ass every day. Can't nothing in the world stop this man from hitting her up. She ain't gonna have to beg him to call her because he want to talk to her. A man that wants to talk to a woman is going to call her every day. He didn't want to talk to me. What he was trying to do was string me along, and he didn't think I knew that shit. And I knew it the whole time. So I played that nigga's game. That's what's wrong with men. Men don't understand. Women know your game. They know the shit that you're doing. They just don't play you how you be trying to play them. You can't do that to Soncerae because I'm too comfortable with being without a man. I would rather die alone than get with the wrong man who's going to treat me like shit, lie to me, and cheat on me. You hear what I'm saying? I'd rather be by myself. Other women are afraid to be alone, not me. Play a game with me if you want to. Play a game with Soncerae. Yo, that fucking feelings be hurt. Fucking feelings be hurt. Where the disrespect that exactly. We cheat. That's what we do. That's what I'm trying to say. I think men cheat. That's what they do. That's what they do. They hate when you play them. Exactly. Men can't stand when women know the game. I know what's up. I'm not no fool. I'm sorry. Listen, let me tell you something. People got me messed up because they think when I got with my son's father, I saw the type of man he was. I was trying to get his man the benefit of the doubt. That's what was wrong. And that's why I tell women all the time, do not give men the benefit of the doubt. Do not do it. You see the signs, believe the signs, and stop dealing with them. Don't look for extra confirmation. Like you see one stop sign, instead of stopping, you run through the stop sign and wait to try to find another stop sign or end up crashing into another car because you passed the stop sign. When you see the first stop sign, don't fuck with them. Well, my son's father, right? I used to be like, I didn't see any red flags. Remember, I used to say that all the time. If you've been listening to my live streams, or you can go back and listen to my heartbreak playlist. Inside of that playlist, I have plenty of videos where I'm in there like, I didn't see any red flags at all. I don't know what you guys are talking about. What red flag? The main red flag that should have told me to never talk to him again was the very red flag that I acted negatively towards. I should have just stuck with it. When we was on our first date and we had like this amazing date, I think we sat there for maybe 2 or 3 hours sitting there laughing, cracking up. And at the end of that day, I don't know what made me ask this dude. And I said, are you married? Something said, it's like my spidey senses said, ask this dude, is he married? And I said, are you married? And he was like, I'm separated. And I got up. I took that money out my handbag, that cash out of my handbag, and I slammed that shit on the table and I walked off. Left that nigga sitting in the restaurant. I got in my car and and you know what? He lucky. Let me tell you, he lucky because I'm the one that drove us to the restaurant. So when I stormed out that restaurant and I got in my car, right? This bouncer came out of the club that was next to the restaurant that we was eating at. And he started talking to me through the window. And he was like, why don't you come into the club? I said, I can't come into no cigar. It was like a cigar lounge. Because we was at this bar called JR Crickets. And they was having like a crab leg special. We wanted crab legs. So we went there to get some crab legs and some drinks. And next to the JR Crickets, and this was in Stone Mountain. Anybody who knows about Stone Mountain, Decatur, JR Crickets. Next to it is this cigar lounge called the Cigar Lounge. And I have COPD, so I can't go in a place where there's just smoke. So the bouncer came up to my car window and was trying to convince me to come in. He was really just trying to holler. He didn't know I was with Priest. So he was sitting there arguing. Trying to holler and shit. He's like, come into the cigar lounge. I was like, I can't come into the cigar lounge. I can't, And here comes Priest running out of the JR Crickets because I done left him in there because he told me he was separated. He comes and gets to the passenger seat. He was like, thank you for not leaving me. I was like, well, I was thinking about it, but then I drove you here. So if something happens to you and, I'll be fucked up in the game. I said, I'll take you back. He was like, well, can we be friends? At least just friends. I said, okay, we can be just friends. And that's it. That's all I'm doing. I'm not fucking you. I'm not being I'm not nothing to you. You said you separated. I'm good. He said, okay. He gave me a hug. I drove him to his car. He got out. And we just kept talking. He kept talking. And what ended up happening is after we sit here having this little friendship and we're just talking and just randomly talking. And I remember texting him like, too bad you got a wife. Because we could have just really kicked it. We could have really just kicked it, my nigga. He started trying to groom me into feeling comfortable with the concept of him being separated. The red flag was when he told me he was separated at the restaurant. And that's when when I dropped his ass off, that should have been the last time I saw his ass. But then again, there would be no justice. There would be no justice. I gotta go, y'all. Bye.